Welcome to Sports Bios, the podcast that delves into the fascinating lives of athletic icons, where the triumphs and tribulations of sports legends are laid bare for all to see. Today, we embark on a captivating journey through the life of one of baseball's most complex and intriguing figures, Ty Cobb, a man whose name is synonymous with greatness on the diamond, yet also whispers of controversy and turmoil off it. As we explore the multifaceted persona of Ty Cobb, you'll discover that his was a life marked by both unparalleled achievement and unrelenting turmoil. Born on December 18, 1886, in Narrows, Georgia, Tyrus Raymond Cobb entered this world with a fiery passion that would define his existence. The rural landscape of the postbellum South, where the echoes of the Civil War still lingered and the air was thick with the tension of Reconstruction, served as the backdrop for Ty's formative years. His early life was a tapestry woven from the threads of hardship, discipline, and unyielding ambition. The Cobb family farm, nestled in the heart of Georgia's countryside, was a place of rugged beauty and unrelenting toil, where the rhythms of nature and the demands of agriculture shaped the young Ty's worldview. Ty's father, William Herschel Cobb, was a school administrator and state senator whose strict disciplinarian approach to parenting would leave an indelible mark on his son's psyche. The elder Cobb's unyielding expectations and harsh punishments fostered in Ty a deep-seated desire to prove himself, to excel beyond the confines of his humble surroundings. This paternal pressure, though often suffocating, would ultimately forge Ty's unwavering resolve and unrelenting drive. As a child, Ty was drawn to the outdoors, spending countless hours exploring the woods and creeks surrounding his family's farm. This affinity for nature not only honed his physical skills, but also nurtured a sense of independence and self-reliance that would serve him well throughout his life. The Cobb household, though strict, was also a place of learning, where literature and music were valued alongside the more traditional pursuits of farming and sports. Ty's mother, Amanda Chitwood Cobb, encouraged his love of reading, introducing him to the works of Dickens and Shakespeare, which would later influence his appreciation for the finer things in life. The young Ty devoured these classics, finding solace in the worlds of fiction and imagination, where he could momentarily escape the harsh realities of his rural existence. Growing up in the late 19th century South, Ty was exposed to the harsh realities of racial tension and social inequality. The legacy of slavery and the struggles of Reconstruction weighed heavily on the region, shaping the young Cobb's worldview and informing his complicated relationships with African Americans throughout his life. As he navigated the complexities of adolescence, Ty found solace in sports, particularly baseball, which offered a welcome respite from the drudgery of farm work and the strictures of his father's discipline. The crack of the bat, the smell of fresh-cut grass, and the thrill of competition would become his sanctuary, a place where he could momentarily forget the troubles of his world. The early years of Ty Cobb were marked by a series of formative experiences that would ultimately shape his destiny. His introduction to organized baseball came at the age of 14, when he joined the Royston Reds, a local team that competed against other regional squads. It was during this period that Ty began to develop the skills that would make him a legend: his lightning-quick reflexes, his uncanny ability to read the game, and his unyielding competitiveness. As he honed his craft, Ty's passion for baseball only intensified, driving him to practice tirelessly and push himself to the limits of human endurance. We find ourselves at the threshold of a remarkable journey, one that will take us through the highs and lows of Ty Cobb's life, from the sun-drenched fields of rural Georgia to the bright lights of Major League Baseball. The historical context of his youth, the tumultuous South, the rise of baseball as a national pastime, provided the backdrop against which Ty Cobb's remarkable story would unfold. And it is here, in the early years of his life, that we find the seeds of greatness, sown in the fertile soil of his rural upbringing and nurtured by the fiery passion that would drive him to become one of baseball's all-time greats. As Ty Cobb's prowess on the diamond continued to grow, so did his reputation, both on and off the field, like a tempest gathering momentum, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of baseball. In 1905, at the tender age of 18, He joined the Augusta Tourists of the South Atlantic League, where his impressive batting average and aggressive base running quickly made him a standout player, a colt bursting out of the gate, unbridled and unstoppable. It was during this period that Cobb began to develop his signature style, a fierce competitiveness that would often boil over into confrontations with opposing players and umpires, like a Shakespearean drama unfolding on the diamond, with Cobb as the protagonist. Driven by an insatiable hunger for victory, as I reflect on those early years, I am reminded of the words of the great poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who once said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Ty Cobb, with his unyielding passion and unwavering dedication, embodied this spirit, refusing to be swayed by the whims of others, forging his own path, like a pioneer blazing a trail through uncharted territory. On August 30th, 1905, Cobb made his major league debut with the Detroit Tigers, facing off against the New York Highlanders at Hilltop Park in Washington Heights, a day that would etch itself into the annals of baseball history. Though he went hitless in his first game, he would soon find his stride, finishing the season with a respectable 2.4 batting average and establishing himself as a key player in the Tigers lineup, like a master craftsman honing his skills, shaping his raw talent into a finely tuned instrument. Over the next several seasons, Cobb's star continued to rise, as he led the American League in batting average in 1907, 1908, and 1909, earning him the nickname, the Georgia Peach, a moniker that would stick with him throughout his career, like a badge of honor. His on-field accomplishments were matched by his off-field antics, which often made headlines in the sporting press, like a wildfire spreading rapidly, leaving a trail of controversy in its wake. His feud with fellow player and rival, Eddie Collins, was particularly notable, with the two engaging in a series of heated exchanges and physical confrontations that would span several years, like a titanic struggle between two giants, each refusing to yield. Despite these distractions, Cobb remained focused on his craft, constantly seeking to improve his game through intense practice and study, like a scholar poring over ancient texts, searching for the secrets of the universe. As he once remarked, "I never did anything by halves. I had to do it all or not at all," a sentiment that would come to define his approach to both baseball and life, like a mantra etched into the very fabric of his being. This unyielding commitment to excellence would serve him well, as he navigated the challenges of the game, like a ship navigating treacherous waters, always keeping his eyes fixed on the horizon. The 1910 season proved to be a watershed moment in Cobb's career, as he hit .41, leading the American League and cementing his status as one of the game's premier hitters, like a master painter adding the final brushstrokes to a masterpiece. This achievement was all the more impressive given the pitching-dominated era in which he played, with stars like Walter Johnson and Eddie Plank regularly shutting down even the most formidable lineups, like a pair of titans standing guard over the gates of the underworld. Cobb's success was not limited to his individual accomplishments, however, as the Tigers began to experience a resurgence in fortunes, finishing second in the American League in 1910 and establishing themselves as a perennial contender, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. As Cobb's fame grew, so did his influence on the game, both on and off the field, like a ripple spreading out from a stone cast into a still pond. He became known for his generosity and kindness to younger players, often taking them under his wing and offering guidance and advice, like a wise elder sharing the secrets of the ages. His relationship with teammate and friend Sam Crawford was particularly close, with the two forming a formidable duo in the Tigers' outfield and providing leadership and support to their teammates, like two old oak trees standing together against the tempests of time. Off the field, Cobb was a devoted husband and father, marrying Charlotte Charlie Carr in 1908 and starting a family that would eventually include 5 children, like a gardener tending to his garden, nurturing the tender shoots of life. The years that followed would see Cobb continue to dominate on the field, leading the American League in batting average, an unprecedented 12 times, and earning numerous accolades, including the Chalmers Award, given annually to the most valuable player in the major leagues. His impact on the game extended beyond his individual accomplishments, however, as he helped to popularize baseball in the South and pave the way for future generations of players from the region, like a trailblazer clearing a path through the wilderness. As Ty Cobb's illustrious career began to wind down, like a masterfully crafted symphony reaching its final crescendo, he continued to play at an elite level, earning his 12th batting title in 1909 and leading the Tigers to a second-place finish in the American League. The wear and tear of 2 decades in the majors, however, eventually caught up with him, like the inevitable passage of time etching its indelible mark on a well-worn page. He retired from baseball in 1928 at the age of 41, leaving behind a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. As we delve into the twilight of Cobb's career, it is essential to examine the psychological dimensions that drove him to excel, even as his physical prowess began to wane. What fueled his unrelenting passion for competition? Was it the sheer thrill of victory, or a deeper-seated need to prove himself against the best? These questions, much like the enigmatic Cobb himself, remain shrouded in mystery, inviting us to ponder the complexities of the human psyche. Cobb's post-playing career was marked by a series of business ventures and investments, including a successful foray into the oil industry and a stint as a banker. He also remained involved in baseball, serving as a coach and advisor to several teams, including the Tigers and the Cincinnati Reds. This dichotomy between his rough-around-the-edges persona and his sophisticated business acumen is a fascinating aspect of Cobb's character, begging the question, what drove this son of rural Georgia to become a savvy entrepreneur? Was it a desire for financial security, or a need to prove himself in a realm beyond the diamond? In his later years, Cobb became increasingly reclusive, preferring the quiet solitude of his Georgia farm to the hustle and bustle of city life. This self-imposed exile, much like the introspective musings of a latter-day Thoreau, allowed him to reflect on his life and legacy, unencumbered by the distractions of the outside world. As he tended to his land, surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft lowing of cattle, Cobb must have pondered the triumphs and tribulations of his remarkable journey. What thoughts, we wonder, occupied his mind during those long, contemplative hours? Did he replay the highlights of his career, or ruminate on the controversies that had swirled around him like a maelstrom? Despite his reclusive nature, Cobb remained a beloved figure in baseball circles, and his legacy continued to grow as a new generation of players and fans discovered his remarkable story. As one sports writer noted, Ty Cobb was more than just a great ball player. He was an icon, a symbol of the game's rugged individualism and competitive spirit. This assessment, while apt, only scratches the surface of Cobb's complex persona. He was, in fact, a multifaceted figure, full of contradictions and paradoxes, a fierce competitor who was also a generous teammate and mentor, a rough-around-the-edges country boy who became a sophisticated businessman and investor, and a private individual who was also a beloved public figure. His career batting average of .366 and 489 hits, which stood as the major league record for nearly 60 years, are testaments to his tireless work ethic and unwavering dedication to the game. And yet, Cobb's legacy extends far beyond the realm of mere statistics. He was a pioneer, a trailblazer who paved the way for future generations of players with his unrelenting passion, his innovative approach to the game, and his uncompromising commitment to excellence. As Cobb himself once said, "I have always believed that a player should be measured by his performance on the field, not by his personality or his reputation off it." By this standard, Ty Cobb's legacy is unparalleled, a shining beacon of excellence that continues to inspire and motivate us to this day. In conclusion, the life and career of Ty Cobb serve as a powerful reminder that true greatness is not solely the province of the talented or the gifted. Rather, it is the result of a deep-seated commitment to excellence, a willingness to push oneself to the limits of human endurance, and an unwavering passion for the pursuit of one's goals. That's all for today's Sports Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Howard Closewell reminding you to keep shooting for your goals.